All right, everybody, it's July, the 4th of July, and that means we got another State of Lagoon video. Join us today on the XP Project. All right, everybody, it is July now, 4th of July to be exact, and we are out at our State of Lagoon for July of 2024. As I'm walking first in here, I just wanted to stop because the Peacock Parlor has actually made a lot of progress in the last three-ish weeks since we did our last construction video. They've actually got wood walls up on both those sides now, you can see, and it seems like there's a lot more beams going up. This is actually moving along pretty fast. Again, I don't think that this is going to be up for this season, but I would be shocked if this isn't up by springtime next year, because the progress that they're making just in a few weeks is a lot more than I thought it was going to be. Drop a comment down if maybe you work out here or you know somebody and maybe know when that Peacock Parlor is supposed to open, because there isn't really like an opening date, but I would just be shocked if it's not ready by like springtime. All right, so as we make our way over to the Centennial swings, if you could drop a comment. So I'm kind of getting a little bit of mixed messages on this one. So I have had some people comment saying that they've heard that the swings are not going to be up until next year. But every time I've gone over through a construction video over there, that little like cherry picker or whatever that machine is kind of has been moving around. So they're definitely doing work on it, but definitely not a lot has been done so far. It basically looks like it did at the beginning of the season. So I am hearing, like I said, from multiple people on comments that it is not opening this year. But if you know a definitive answer, hit me down in the comments and let me know. All right, so I said that I would make a stop at the old log ride every time we come out here for the State of Lagoon videos. Nothing really to report here. I don't want to talk about this too much. Like I said, my theory is, and correct me if I'm wrong if you work at one of these parks or know much about it, but I know that for a lot of these big projects, especially like new rides and things like that, the companies usually have to like get a general contractor, a contractor to come out and do the work. And I don't think a park of this size can afford to have like multiple general contractors going at the same time. So my suspicion would be, and tell me if you think that this is wrong in the comments, is that probably the majority of their allocation for contracting right now is probably going into the Peacock Parlor. Then I would assume once that's done, they'll probably launch into a new theme. So if my prediction's right, I think that that'll probably launch at the beginning of the year, and then that'll probably kind of run through the next year, and then some point next year I think they'll start breaking ground on something with that general contractor or another general contractor, but have that one going, and then at that point we'll get some kind of word on something new coming. But it wouldn't surprise me if something new is at least announced like by the end of this year, but I don't think that any ground will break for any new kind of ride or anything like that until after the Peacock Parlor is done. So I was just walking by, I actually didn't plan on this one. The old Pioneer Village Armory has been closed basically since the park opened this season, and it's actually back open now. This is a cool little building. I haven't done this in any of my Did You Know videos because it was closed, but it's a little armory building. There's like old, like super old like cannons and armory from way back in the day, like World War I, World War II era. It's a really fun one to walk into, and I kind of was disappointed when it was completely closed, but it's open back up now. All right, so we're gonna head over to Samurai area. I don't think there's gonna be any progress on that, but we still want to check it out because it's a construction video. I want to talk about crowds a little bit. So today's not a great indicator of crowds because this is the 4th of July, and like I said, it's generally slower on holidays, and that's right again today. There's just so many things going on in Utah right now between like fireworks and parades and everything like that, that a lot of people aren't going to be coming out here, so it's a super mild day today. I've been doing some reconnaissance during the week. Tuesdays, Thursdays have been the slowest days in my opinion. I was out here on a Thursday last week, and it was basically like walk on everything, and the time of day makes a difference too. So you know, I tend to come out either really early morning or really kind of later in the day. Sometimes that middle time can get kind of busy, but Tuesdays and Thursdays have been really mild. Saturdays have been the busiest day, and Sundays have been not as slow as weekdays, but fairly slow in terms of just overall crowd volume. So that's kind of what you're going to expect right now until we get to the Frightmare season, and the crowds change completely at that point. Okay, so I wanted to just say a couple things real quick. I just wanted to say thank you everybody for watching the channel. I really appreciate it. It's been a great season, still going to be a great season, but I just appreciate all you guys being along for the ride, and I really appreciate you guys like engaging in the comments. This last week, I've actually learned a lot from the comments that you guys have put in there, which kind of surprises me because part of the time I feel like I already know everything that's going on out here, but you guys have been giving me some really cool tips and tricks and just little bits of knowledge that I had no idea existed, and I will get a lot of those comments put up on certain videos, but I just really appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, so before we get over to Samurai, we are just stopping by Primordial. I already kind of talked about this, but they have changed the Primordial queue. I don't know what I think about this because it just leaves that big empty spot in the middle, but it does seem like it doesn't look like quite so congested and stuff, so I'm curious to see or know why they made that change. Like maybe it was just something where they couldn't have that many people like crammed in all at once or something, but it does give a way better view of the actual mountain itself. And the one thing I love that I didn't talk about in the last one is they got rid of those porta potties that were out, the little portable bathrooms, and I love that because they were kind of in the way of the view of the mountain, and now you can just see the mountain in all its glory, and it just looks so good. You know, I always like to mention like spots where you can go to kind of cool down at the park, and I'm actually standing right in the dead sun right now, but when you come stand by this new waterfall by Primordial, you just get a little mist of water on you, and it's like the wind just kind of hits that little area just like perfectly, and it's just a little breezy down in here. It's a perfect spot to sit if you just got like an ice cream or something and want to just cool down. You know, I'm over here in front of Samurai right now, and it's so funny when you read that sign that it says, because it says, due to a late arrival of parts, this ride will not open. Or did I say it right? But it just sounds like, so, I don't know, whoever wrote that sign, it just sounds so funny. It like, yeah, it says this ride will not open. It just sounds so like aggressive. I don't know, for some reason when I read that, yeah, this ride's not opening this year. I can pretty confidently say that. You know, there always is a chance that maybe they get the part or something, but there's just no way this ride's gonna be open this year. They've like shelved the ride vehicles back behind and everything, and it just looks like there's not really even any work being done on this. It's a little bit of a disappointment because this ride does pull some crowds from Cannibal, actually a good amount of crowds from Cannibal during the Frightmare season. It's not gonna make that much of a difference during the summer, but it is gonna be one that's missed during the Frightmare seasons for that crowd pulling. I gotta say, where else can you find a candy apple that has gummy bears on it? You tell me.
Thank you so much.
All right, so I just got out of the Alice show. It's actually the first time I've seen it. So I did just want to mention, make sure you come out and get those shows seen. It was really good. I was kind of thinking about it during the show. I know like out at Disneyland right now, they're like cutting a lot of their entertainment, like their shows and things like that, like in Avengers Campus and just some of their shows, and I'm just so glad that Lagoon's not doing that. Thank you, Lagoon. They pretty consecutively keep the 2 shows during the summertime, and then they'll have the 2 shows during Halloween season. And I mean, they have been changing them up, but even if they keep them the same, Lagoon, thank you so much for doing that, because I hate to see when shows get cut, because that's something that makes these theme parks so unique, is that you get to see those shows. It's just so great, and that Alice show was awesome. I haven't seen the Smoke and Mirrors one yet. I'm going to try to hit that one next week, but the Alice one was just as good as last year's, if not better. So make sure you check those out when you come out here. All right, so one thing I wanted to talk about, and it's 2 rides specific, Colossus and White Roller Coaster. Those rides are very dependent on how many cars are running on the ride at any given time. 2 is the max on both of those, but if there's only 1 running, those can be absolutely brutal even on a slow day. But if there's 2 running, there's nothing to worry about. Like even if it's a longer line, if there's 2 running, Colossus and White are gonna run super fast. There's reasons that they might not be running, and if it's a busy day and they aren't running, I would really stay away from those rides, unless obviously you're out here for just 1 day. But if there's 1 running, those rides can be brutal, and during Frightmares, I've seen the line come back all the way on Colossus, like all the way back to the bathrooms. All right, so one thing I did want to mention also is that, you know, we're in July right now. Once July ends, we'll hit August. We'll do a State of Lagoon play in August. And then if my prediction's right, I think they'll start setting up Frightmare stuff in September. So we've probably only got one more State of Lagoon that's not going to be kind of a little bit more Frightmares themed. So if you have any questions of stuff that's not Frightmares related and you want to kind of get those answered before the Frightmare season starts, because once we get to Frightmares, the State of Lagoons are pretty much going to be the construction on Frightmares, because there's going to be like the 5 haunted houses that they're slowly putting up, and just a lot of stuff around the park that they're kind of putting up. So we'll be hitting a lot of the Halloween stuff once, I'm guessing, September hits, because they really want that up like mid-September. It might even be earlier this year, like I said, because Disney's doing the same thing. So let me know if you have any of those questions about the non-Frightmare stuff before that starts. All right, everybody, so as always, I appreciate all the comments. Please drop in the comments if there's anything that you know that's going on with construction or events coming up or crowds or anything like that. I really appreciate the community that we're creating, and I just love that you guys are giving me a lot of tips and tricks, and the whole community some stuff to kind of learn about as we go along this journey. Thanks so much for all your follows. Thanks for all that you do. Thanks for joining us on the XP Project.